guys, and welcome back to the beauty retouching series. This is the first part of this series and the first video, so I want to go through basically what my setup is for beauty retouching and for retouching in general. So I think I've had enough questions on Instagram for me to finally make this video about the tools of the trade that I'm using currently to make everything happen. So the purpose of this video is to show you guys what I'm using and also to let you know what you'll probably need as a beginner retoucher or someone who is looking at getting into beauty retouching. So the first thing I'm going to talk about today is my graphics tablet. This might not always be the most obvious thing for beginner retouchers. A lot of retouchers might start off using a mouse to edit their photos, and for me that was how I edited for probably a good 2 to 3 years before I even looked at a graphics tablet. So I do recommend a graphics tablet. I think it makes things a lot easier and a lot smoother, and it does help give your work that professional edge, I think, a lot quicker. The graphics tablet I'm currently using is the Wacom Intuos Pro in medium, and I think it was bought in 2014, so it's quite a few years old now, but it still works very, very well. And I think it's a good size for the desk that I have. I probably wouldn't get anything larger or smaller for this instance. I do have a smaller tablet as well though, and the smaller tablet that I have is mainly for traveling with, which I find suits me really well because it's so small. And this is the Wacom Art Draw series, so it was quite a cheap tablet at the time that I bought it. I think it was around $80, something like that. I know they've got a new entry-level range of tablets now though, so I'd definitely go check them out if you're a beginner retoucher. I think these are really, really great to have and really good to travel with as well because they are so small and good to learn with initially. I do remember that starting off with a graphics tablet was quite hard for me, and it is good to have something just to practice with in the beginning. I did find it very hard to sort of get my motions in tune with what I was doing on the screen, and it did sort of feel a little bit wobbly to me. So I do think it's always good to start off maybe with a smaller tablet or something that's a bit cheaper while you get used to it. But honestly, I can wholeheartedly recommend the tablet that I have currently, which is the Intuos Pro. I think it's such a great tool of the trade for retouchers, and a really important one. I also have my Microsoft Surface. Now, this is a laptop that also detaches as a tablet, and you can do your retouching straight onto the screen with the pen provided. I personally still like using a tablet. I never really got used to retouching straight onto the screen. I think it's quite hard because you're almost writing over the screen or writing over the elements that you're trying to retouch. And I think that's why I generally just prefer using my Wacom tablet. I just like having the screen free. I think there tends to be a lot of dirty marks on the screen as well while I'm trying to use that for retouching. I've tried to use it even for traveling, just to use the screen retouching method, but I just really do feel like sometimes it's best to just have your screen clear in view with a graphics tablet. That's just how I personally prefer to retouch. So this is a really great little laptop. If I had my way right now, I would have a desktop setup. I do think it is a lot better when you're at home to be retouching on a desktop. I personally feel that way because I basically grew up doing that, and that was how I used to do a lot of drawing on the tablet, and I just liked having a really big screen in front of me. And unfortunately right now, my last desktop that I had died a couple of years ago, so I've been using my laptop ever since. However, I am looking to upgrade in the near future to a desktop setup, and I'm very much looking forward to it because I think it's much better for your posture as well to be sitting in front of a desktop computer while you're retouching for hours on end. I sometimes find that this can cause a little bit of eye strain because the screen is a little bit too small, although I know some people do find a bit of eye strain when they're looking at something that's quite big as far as the screen goes. So it's each to their own, but I definitely prefer to be at a desktop when I'm retouching. Although obviously when I'm traveling, which is quite often, my laptop does the job and it does what it needs to do. So that is my laptop setup. I also have a bit of a mood board behind there. There's a few things from previous clients that I've got on their mood boards from their photo shoots. But I find it's really good for references to have a few images up behind your computer and just be looking at maybe other people's work for inspiration of how you want your image to look in the end with texture and skin retouching especially. I think it's a really good way to help improve with that sort of thing when you are doing retouching. I also have Lightroom and Photoshop on this computer, and as I said in my intro video, Photoshop is pretty much all I'm going to be using throughout this series to teach you guys a few things about beauty photography and beauty retouching. And I also have my hard drives over here, so I've got quite a few hard drives. I'm always buying hard drives. I will be getting a better setup for that eventually, and hopefully having some trays, which will be great. But at the moment, that is pretty much my setup. There's not too many interesting things to it. It is a pretty basic setup in terms of using up desk space. There's not really much going on here actually. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is just a quick video to go through what I use at the moment and the tools of the trade that I have for retouching. I think a lot of people do have questions about this because sometimes even starting off a career as a retoucher and even not as a beauty photographer can be quite difficult to find the information for where to start with it all. So I hope this video did help with knowing maybe what sort of setup you might need. A lot of people will have different setups to me. A lot of other retouchers, they'll probably have more expensive setups. But personally, this at the moment works for me until I get a desktop, and this is basically how I've been retouching for the past few years. So guys, if you have started beauty retouching or retouching in general, let me know what you have in your setups, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are just starting out that would love to know what you guys are using as well. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments section below, and any requests for this series. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!